I teach marine ecology. I teach a study abroad class to Belize. I get to go and teach students in places like this. And so it's pretty easy for me to get together students who are really keen on this subject. You know, it's not a hard task for me to get students interested in what we're doing here because they love it already. And I know a lot of folks say that, you know, there are no born teachers, but I disagree. I really think there are some people out there who really are born to teach. They have whatever it is, you know, a little charisma. They've got a message to first place, but they've got something that makes people want to listen to them. Now, many of these folks, you probably would know this. The center one you wouldn't know. This was actually my major professor from Florida State years ago, and if you could see the logo on his hat, I think he's got it right. Lead learner. That was his perspective in teaching, and he was a phenomenal teacher in so many ways, but part of it was his perspective.
I have very strong beliefs about faculty and characteristics about faculty that really make a big difference. One of them, I believe it's important for the faculty to practice what they preach. And if I expect my students to be doing research, then I better be doing research. If I expect them to be seeing patients, I better know what it's like to see patients. And so as part of nursing, I see patients as a family nurse practitioner 1 day a week at Eastern Virginia Medical School in family medicine. Those patients are very sick patients. And you have your Medicare, your Medicaid. So I'm seeing some of the toughest populations. It gives me stories to share with the students. It also allows me to understand what they're facing. So when they come and say, well, I can't collect data in a clinical setting, I can tell them how they can because I'm doing it. Okay, beliefs with students. I believe that students want to feel successful. They want to be seen and they want to be understood. They want us as teachers, faculty, to give them the tools that will empower them to move forward. They want to make a difference, have significance, and they want to be led by vision.
There's this sappy saying that no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. But there actually is something to this sappy saying. In fact, a Gallup poll in the last few months, Gallup polled 30,000 graduates. And it asked them what made them successful in their lives, not just in their work, but in terms of their overall welfare. And they identified having at least one professor that cared for them as one of the most significant things that motivated them. In the same Gallup poll of 30,000 students, students identified a professor that sparked their interest and curiosity as the most important thing for their success in their job and also in their life more broadly. 63% identified that as most critical compared to all the other categories being in the 20s or 30s in percentage importance. Categories like writing a capstone or going abroad or working in groups, right? So a professor that cared got around 33%, which was the second highest, and a professor that sparked their interest through being motivated about his or her subject, 63% said that was what was critical.
So how have you influenced your departments in terms of teaching? That's what I'm asking.
You want to tackle that one?
This is something I am very excited about. Someone once told me that I had two choices. I could figure out where I was going and head there with my passion and my vision, and then those who wanted to be a part would join. Or I could worry about trying to change those around me that might not have my vision. And then I would not get anywhere. And as soon as I stopped worrying about what other people were saying or where they were stuck and started saying, well, I'm going to go this way, please join me. This is what I want. And I kept putting my vision out. It amazed me. At about that same time, we started developing our doctoral program in nursing. the faculty that came on board, and some of them out of retirement, and they said, the reason we're part of this is because we believe in this vision. And as we've progressed, we've had more and more people come on that have the vision, and then the people that have maybe the more negative attitude sort of have a choice. They can either stay where they are or they can join the group that's moving forward. And we've found more and more people to want to be part because we have fun. We're excited to come to work, but I think you have to constantly put it out there and just don't worry about the other. Let that take care of itself.
I have a quick question. Can anyone talk to the importance of a teaching philosophy? I think putting together like my third year review and then putting together this evaluation, I've been working on my teaching philosophy and making sure that it's aligned with what I believe. And I took like an extended amount of time working on it. And I thought, like, is this important to do this much on this, or is it something that's more like a formality, like no one uses it after the review period? Like, so I've been actually trying to go by it like as a guide, like, okay, technology is important to me, so let me put something in here about how technology influences my life and the students. So can anyone talk to that, the teaching philosophy, if you use it, if it's important? Thank you.
Well, each of us that were Chev recipients, we had to really embrace that. And I would have to say that was probably, I know for me it was one of the hardest sections of the whole proposal to write. And so if you want some good ideas, you can go online to Chev and see what everybody wrote. That will give you a lot of good ideas. But I do think it's very, very important to understand what your philosophy is, because it comes out in everything you do. It comes out in the type courses you develop. It comes out in how you address the students and how you work with your colleagues. And so I would recommend, and I do have to say the ones that that were on the Chev website are excellent. And I think if you reviewed some of those, you would get an idea and you'd go, okay, I'm beginning to get the feel for it.
Yeah, and I would just say, for those of you who maybe are not very philosophical, and I admit to being one of those folks. I mean, until one has to do these things, I really think these exercises are more important for you than they're important for anyone else. That moments, hours, days you spend reflecting on this really does, I think, a lot for you in terms of refining what you think and where you might want to go, with the changes you might want to make. And I think that's more important, the personal reflection part of it, than trying to write this for somebody else. It's not for somebody else. I think it's really for you.
I would just add one thing. In most cases, your colleagues won't read your philosophy and say, we don't like it, redo it. But as Mark suggested, and Carolyn, it's important for you. And the way I think about it is that in life we have goals and then we have strategies for different things we do. And a teaching philosophy is like goals and then strategies and how they intermix. So laying that out formally can illuminate where you stand in terms of how to meet your goals.